across the country, and we got more updates on those Canadian wildfires and how long are we going to continue to deal with this? It's been an ongoing situation all summer with these visibility and air quality issues across the country. We'll have updates and weather. Stay with us. You're watching Extra.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Good Day, Alabama.
A new morning comes with preparing right, because while you slept, news broke.
We have new information from that breaking news that happened this morning.
While you head out, the storm we gave you the first alert for is on its way in. And as the key turns the ignition, your shorter route to work is being found.
Avoid 459 southbound completely because of a crash.
A new morning means everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama, always on your side.
The first alert traffic you need to get you there safe and on time. Tomorrow morning, everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama.
You're late, out the door, and on the go. Don't worry.
Good Day, Alabama continues all morning long.
And wherever you watch, this is what you need to know right now.
More reporters on the streets with more hours of news when you need it. Everything you need for a good day is on Good Day, Alabama. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Wes mentioned that he has declared a First Alert Weather Day for Wednesday and Thursday of this week. So we check in now with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for an update on how to play it safe with those dangerous heat index values.
All right, the heat is on this week, but you know, it's June, July, August. We're expecting it. A lot of us deal with it all the time, but you know, heat exhaustion or heat stroke, that can sneak up on you in a short period of time.
That's right. So we want to make sure you find ways to stay cool. We're looking at
What is that?
Well,
is it your #1 fan?
Yeah, I've got a fan here, but we'll show you that shortly. But
Okay.
here's a way to protect yourself from the heat and sun. And obviously, when it comes to the humidity building, that's when it's hard to stay cool. You're sweating, but it's not evaporating because of all the mugginess. So we always tell people, and you should know this, just stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, and of course, avoid, salt or alcoholic beverages that can actually help dehydrate you.
That's right. Now, we were moving this past week, and I tell you what, I was doing a little yard work outside. I came in, cooled off, drank some water, just brought my body temperature down. Here's their fan.
Did you have a fan?
Is this your #1 fan?
Yes.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
That is nice. That's quiet, too.
Yeah, it's a quiet little fan. That's one way to stay cool. But yeah, just stay cool. Wear like colored clothing as well, loose-fitting clothing as well.
Sounds good.
All right, let's talk about the humidity. That's why we have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings, is because the humidity. And we're finding a lot more moisture in the atmosphere, and when there's a lot more moisture, there's more humidity. So over the past several decades, since 1979, just looking at it as a whole, of course, each summer it can be cooler or warmer, but as a whole, we're noticing 8 more days in the Birmingham area with more in the way of high heat index values, probably over 105. So it's out there, it's going to happen. And of course, what happens when you have that humidity and the heat? Well, your heart's going to pump faster, your sweat cools less, and your kidneys work harder. And of course, that can result in a lot of health issues. So that's why we always encourage people to reduce those risks. And that's what you did last week, Mickey.
Yeah, cooled off, just sat in the AC and take advantage of, air conditioning.
That's right. So
don't sweat it.
Well, good.
Hey.
So, hey, some that's not fun to talk about is, unfortunately, we have to remind people to always check the back seat of their cars, because we're still getting reports of finding out that children are being left in there, or even pets, animals. And so far this year, we've had 12 children pass away from being left in a hot car.
And it's more prevalent down south. They've had some instances up north, but as far as Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, we kind of lead the nation as far as heat-related deaths so far this year.
Yeah, that's right. 5 in Florida, 1 here in Alabama, 1 in Mississippi, 2 in Texas, and you can see a few up to the north. But we're hoping this number stays at 12 and we won't see it. But of course, we got several months to go. And even when it's like 70 outside, it can be unusually hot inside of a car as the sun heats it up. So we always check the back seat.
Look before you lock.
Exactly. That's what we encourage. And of course, if you have pets as well in this kind of heat, make sure you walk them on grassy surfaces, because if they're walking on the pavement, temperatures could be up to 130, 140, and that could burn their paws. So make sure they take it easy as well.
I'm getting a little tired. Can I borrow your fan again?
You sure can.
Just to cool off. How do you work this thing?
Just push the button.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep, I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, now.
Stay cool, everybody.
Matt and Mickey, y'all ran that joke into the ground. I'm so sorry, everyone. Well, from flash flooding to dangerous heat waves, as Matt and Mickey were mentioning, millions of Americans are grappling with some dangerous summer heat. And with that comes some flooding. Parts of the Northeast saw torrential downpours. In Pennsylvania, at least 5 people were killed. The South and West seen scorching triple-digit heat. Jen Sullivan looks at the extreme weather patterns and what crews across the country are doing to keep people safe.
Severe flooding crippling parts of the Northeast. Some areas seeing several inches of rain in just hours Sunday. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, reeling from deadly flooding. A family driving to a barbecue was swept away by the rushing waters. The mother found dead. Her 2-year-old and 9-month-old still missing as of Monday. 4 other people were killed.
All hands are on deck, and we will be here as long as it takes to make sure Bucks County gets back up on its feet.
In Norfolk, Connecticut, the rising and rushing waters crumbling roads. And in Bristol, firefighters driving through a flooded road to save this stranded driver. But it's not just the rain wreaking havoc on the Northeast, it's also the heat. Country music star Jason Aldean ending his show early in Hartford, Connecticut Saturday after suffering from heat exhaustion.
I'm feeling a lot better, so thank you guys for checking in.
Over the weekend, scorching temperatures soaring into the triple digits across the South and West.
Feels like you're actually on fire after you're out here for a while.
As of Monday, 80 million Americans remain under heat alerts in 12 states.
For the elderly, for those who have underlying health conditions, this actually is very, very dangerous.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, New Yorkers are being urged once again to prepare for smoke from the wildfires burning in Western Canada. We've already seen some of that wildfire smoke making it all the way down here to central Alabama. Air quality health advisories are being issued for the entire state of New York as winds are expected to carry that smoky haze farther into the Northeast this week. It comes as Canada is experiencing its worst fire season on record. About 25 million acres have burned so far this year with no end in sight. CNN's Paula Newton reports.
They've come all the way from America's Southwest.
Well, welcome to Quebec.
Now here in northern Quebec's scorched lands, joining hundreds of other American and international firefighters, doing what they can to slow wildfires that just won't quit.
At this point, we're just trying to secure the edge and make sure that the communities are safe.
The Silver State Hot Shot Crew is looking for hot spots. They are firefighting crews specially trained and skilled, now taking on Canada's record-breaking wildfires. I know you're from Montana, big sky country, but this was a big fire. This is a big territory.
In the scope for us in the States, this would be one of the largest fires ever to occur in the United States. So yeah, it's a gigafire.
The total area burned in Canada already has shattered records. Now 10 million hectares, that's almost 25 million acres, an area nearly as large as the state of Ohio, and still burning.
And when they burn like this, there's no way to even put people in front of it to even stop the fire. There's no amount of resources on the ground or from the sky that's going to be able to stop one of these fires when they get the momentum.
As shocking and frankly unsettling as it is, this fire is just far too large to extinguish. In fact, the area already burned is larger than most countries on the planet. It means that not only does the fire burn, but there is going to be a lot of smoke. And that means many American cities could be shrouded in smoke on any given day for weeks or months to come.
Don't be surprised if it continues. And secondly, this is a problem that is going to go on into the future. When it's the year to burn and the conditions are right, it's just going to continue to burn.
Here in Quebec, many were evacuated within minutes as the flames threatened towns and fires burned with raging speed.
American.
Jimmy Seaburn is grateful to see American help. He says he had minutes to leave in June and was upset to leave behind the family pets. They were fine when he returned 6 days later, but he fears his home will be threatened again. C'est incroyable, mais c'est pas normal. Oui, it's incredible, but it's not normal.
No, no.
He says it's not normal, but cautions we should all learn to expect the worst from the weather now. The rain helps. It has finally arrived in some places, but in the words of one Canadian official, it's like a drop in an otherwise empty bucket. The mayor of this town, Chibougamau, says the rain is an answered prayer. She may not have to evacuate her town again, but they have to adapt, she says. No one imagined so much would burn so quickly. Were you scared?
Strangely, I wasn't scared. I was mad. And then I have to come down and say, Manon, you have a job to do. And that's why, I say, so stay calm. And I said to my people, let's be patient, let's do it, and keep it zen.
It may be difficult to stay calm as Mother Nature rages. The cliche applies here in every way possible. Canada is burning, and it's not out of the woods yet.
Well, in the Eastern Hemisphere, the death toll from flooding and landslides as a result of heavy rain has risen to at least 41 people in South Korea. That's according to the country's Ministry of Interior and Safety, who confirmed the number to CNN on Monday. In the meantime, remain missing across the country. Roads, houses, and fields were among areas that have been heavily affected by either flooding or landslides. And you can see that video there, people walking through the floodwaters and a cow right there. It looks like actual livestock being caught in the floodwaters. More than 10,000 people across South Korea were evacuated from their homes because of these adverse events. Well, coming up next on First Alert Weather Extra, we check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt for our potential for that next storm chance. And I'll take you beyond the 7-day to let you know if we have more summer heat in the forecast. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The First Alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
First Alert Weather Extra. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. And over the next few days, scattered afternoon thunderstorms. We have declared First Alert weather days Wednesday and Thursday because of the possibility of excessive heat, 105 to 110. It's still going to be hot out there, but very, very dangerously hot there Wednesday, Thursday at times. The good news is we still have a chance for some scattered showers and storms. Of course, any rain is going to bring some improvements in those levels. And by the weekend, storms more likely there by late Friday and Saturday. If this wet weather slows down a little bit, some of the data suggesting that this next system may roll in late Friday night and into Saturday. We could be in for a stormy start to the day on Saturday. But notice how the temperature goes from 97, 98, 96 down to 91, 92. There will be an improvement. We'll get back to that normal level there by the end of the weekend and into the start of next week. So for right now, plan for a stormy start to the weekend, but drier, trending much drier there by late on Saturday. It is so hazy out there right now. This is some of the thickest of this smoke we've been tracking all summer. It's been the summer of the Canadian wildfire smoke so far across the eastern third of the country. And Lauren was actually tracking this. We were doing some trajectory analysis earlier on exactly where some of this was coming from, and it was actually from western Canada. We've been seeing some of the wildfire smoke eastern, western Canada, but it's been a big story out there, and the hazy conditions are in the unhealthy range right now. So for folks very sensitive, asthma, respiratory sensitivities, be extra careful this evening, overnight tonight. Notice 90 degrees. Probably not the best evening to crack open the window. In other words, it's going to be very, very hazy. And you can see to the north there is a severe thunderstorm watch across North Mississippi, but no watches for Alabama. That's because at this point we're not concerned about severe storms making it into our state. That's another cluster of storms. You can see a lot of rain from Kansas City back in towards Jonesboro, Arkansas. What this is doing is riding around the northern edge of that heat bubble that's starting to build in across our state, and that's really going to take over next couple of days. And as it starts to do so, it is going to shift this hazy weather off to the east tomorrow, so it won't be quite as hazy in the afternoon. Let's talk about tonight, though. Again, we're going to stay dry through 9 o'clock. You can see there 82 Birmingham. Dry overnight. Those storms to the north don't quite make it in here. We'll keep an eye on the radar. Sometimes I've seen those what we call mesoscale convective systems. Once they really get going, sometimes they can drop south in a hurry. But in this case, the data is telling us not going to make it in here tonight. So at this point, we're keeping the forecast dry, but do check in with us for updates tonight. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, a dry start to the day, near 70 to start out for most areas. We're dry through lunchtime in the early afternoon. Again, it's going to be a hot day tomorrow. I mean, look at Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, mid-90s, 93 Hamilton. But notice what happens here late afternoon and evening. Some of those storms could reach us, could ride in, especially over East Alabama where that high pressure ridge is not quite as potent, and that's those areas we'll have to keep an eye on. But storms possible for late tomorrow evening, a passing thunderstorm, not an all-day washout certainly, and I can't promise everybody's going to see rain. So again, it's a watch the radar situation tomorrow afternoon. And even though the heat index, again, you can see why we've declared first alert weather days. I mean, look at Wednesday, 110, 111 on Thursday. Even though we're going to deal with that kind of heat at times, especially going into early afternoon Wednesday and Thursday, I still think we're going to see some of those scattered storms, and that's going to have an impact on the temperatures. And then by the weekend, notice the big improvement here, 106 to 94. I mean, you look at 94 there, it's almost like cooler air's moving in, just such a drastic drop off there in the heat index. So we will have quite the improvement again going into the weekend. We have a front that's on the way. Surprisingly, we get a lot of fronts in the month of July in Alabama. Not by definition, you call them cold fronts. You look at a surface map, you see a cold front. More or less, it's just a cool front. Kind of a shift in wind direction, but you can see you go from 95, 98 degrees to 91. That's a cool down, right? And that's what we're going to deal with over the weekend there, with that drop in temperatures. But I see that map behind you, Lauren. All I see is above average, and that's what stands out right now.
Yeah, Wes, I still think we're going to be seeing some intense summer heat in the weeks ahead, which we expect it to be hot and humid here in Alabama in the summer. That's no question. But what's interesting about the temperature map, the temperature temperature outlook map across the U.S. 8 to 14 days from now is it looks like everywhere across the lower 48 could be seeing the potential for above average temperatures. So I think we're going to be seeing a really hot pattern unfolding here, at least within the next couple of weeks. I mean, you can just see going into next week, low mid 90s. Now our average this time of the year in the low 90s. So we could be a few degrees above that. Anytime you see it spitting out 79, that could just indicate some rain around during the heat of the day. But of course, keeping those morning lows warm as well as we wrap up July and head into August. Hard to believe. Now, as far as that precipitation outlook, just looking fairly normal for this time of the year across the middle part of the country and parts of extreme West Alabama. The potential for below average precipitation. There's a moth, always a moth in here. The moths love when I do the weather, apparently. Hey buddy, I guess it's gonna hang out on my shoe. So I was probably wondering about that forecast. Let's look beyond the 7-day, buddy, as he's just really hanging out on my shoe. So let's look at Tuesday, July 25th. Here we are seeing the potential for a ridge building in across the southeast. When you see a ridge of high pressure in place, that can indicate the possibility of above average temperatures. So that's what we were just noticing beyond the 7-day, seeing that possibility later next week for more heat to build in. Now that ridge could eventually break down, showing a system coming in next Thursday, July 27th. And so that could bring the possibility of some scattered showers and storms. So potentially a little bit more unsettled as we're wrapping up July and heading into August. Here we are the last weekend of July, showing some off and on showers and storms. Nothing too unusual for July. But here's some interesting news. Underground climate change, ever heard of it? I hadn't before today, is deforming the ground beneath cities across the U.S. That's according to a study published this month in the journal Communications Engineering. The study found the ground reacts unevenly to warming and can both expand and contract, which can cause problems for buildings. Researchers conducted the study by putting 150 temperature sensors across the Chicago Loop District, both above and below ground. They also installed them in Grant Park, a location next to construction or the subway system. Data showed the ground under the loop was up to 18 degrees warmer than the ground beneath the park. So why is this important? Well, underground climate change, which is tied to buildings and underground transportation, can cause issues like groundwater contamination or cause subway tracks to buckle. And it can also result in more people becoming ill or dehydrated due to excessive heat. Really interesting study there. And this is also interesting as we wrap up Weather Extra. Mississippi deputies got an unusual call. The Forest County Sheriff's Office got a call Sunday for a camel on the loose. Clyde the camel lives on a farm with bison and zebras. Man, Clyde's living the good life. But he was found strolling outside of his fence. Typical Clyde, right? Clyde appeared to be really interested in the deputy's hat. So hey, they used that to lead him back into his enclosure. Always a cute piece of clothing will also lead me back into where I need to go. You'll have a cute dress or some cute shoes and I need to get to work, just lure me here with them. So tonight you can check the latest on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on First at 9 and join us here on Weather Extra every weeknight at 6:30 on your favorite streaming platform. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. I don't know where my moth friend went, but he'll probably be around later tonight. You can check in with Wes and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a happy Monday evening.